Hello and welcome. I'm Peggy, and I'm smiling because I have somebody here I'm very glad to see. And Jack Logan. Jack, hi.
How you doing?
Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
And he founded Put Down the Guns Young People. And maybe we need to say put down the guns everybody. I don't know. But anyway, we've got a lot to talk about. And Calvin Murray has joined us, and he is the second vice president of the Reedy River Baptist Association. I'll reach over here and shake your hand. Thank you for coming and sharing with us today.
Amen.
And I don't know where to begin. Do you want to talk about gun violence? Do you want to talk about for those people who may not know, what is Put Down the Guns Young People? And
Okay.
how did you happen to do this?
Okay, we began in 2010, Put Down the Guns, Now Young People. Well, we educate children and teens in this state and now throughout America to not to pick up a gun and to understand their parents and to follow the guidance of their parents. And we want to see kids stay in school to get that productive education and also go to church and not to pick up a gun until their parents teaches them how to use a gun. We don't object to a child being taught how to use a weapon because a child should be taught. That will eliminate a lot of accidental deaths because we have a lot of accidental deaths going on. But at the same time, we want to see parents do their job in doing the searches of their children when they come home from school or prior going to school to make sure they're not taking a gun out of their home because we want to see that kid stay in school.
And see, that's one of the big problems, is that many times these children have broken homes and maybe there is no parent there, you know?
That's right. Now since last couple of years, where the parent, do have some parents in the home where that parent, say from the upscale subdivisions, where some parents have love to party so much and forgotten they have a child. And even those little boys take a gun to school. And you see it on national TV, and even those kids getting in trouble with guns, being in possession of guns. But the bottom line is, Ms. Denny, with children and teens, those parents must know where those guns are in their home and should search their child to make sure that children are not coming home with a gun or taking the gun from the house to school or even out in the community. We just had a 17-year-old boy to get killed in Rock Hill Sunday morning.
Oh, dear.
He and some kids were sitting around playing with a gun, and the gun accidentally went off and killed him.
And right here in South Carolina.
Right here in South Carolina. And since I've seen you last, probably 2.5 months ago, back up in Rock Hill, there was a 3-year-old killed with a handgun, Savion Barrow. The mother have not been charged, but in Rock Hill, the police did charge another teenager, 20-year-old, when this kid got killed this past Sunday morning with involuntary manslaughter. And he's the first person since 2010, since we've started, where a child has been killed accidental that has faced criminal charges, because I just can't see a parent going to jail for when a child have died from playing with a gun. That's sad enough just by itself, and them going to prison for leaving a gun out. I just feel they will get the punishment, and I use the word punishment, in a negligent situation.
Okay, let's back up a minute. Our Constitution gives us the right to bear arms, to own a gun, but we have responsibility with that. When you're given, like our Constitution gave us, the ability and the right to defend ourselves and our nation as individuals. But with that also comes responsibility.
That's right. There's a lot of people say that people who are sick, may have a mental disorder, whatever, are those convicted felons. But lately, people who are in their right mind, and there's a man named Satan that gets into these people's head and get jealous of behind a woman or whatever it may be, and go out and commit these heinous acts. And my message, not only just to children, to adults, if you want to find yourself in the Department of Corrections for the rest of your life, because that's where you're going to end up at. I wish no one would commit murder by malice.
All right. Now, how did you happen to found this? Put down the guns, young
Okay,
people. You founded that
that's right.
organization, Jack.
What happened, a best friend of mine, Alex Paul, prior to him being killed 3 days, he asked me, because there was two teenagers who had been charged with murder, 15 and 16, over in Spartanburg for killing a Spartanburg Methodist School student. And the two of them are serving life sentences as of this date. Oh. And Alex asked me, because he was friends to one of the boys' mothers from Spartanburg. And he was killed in a car accident on March 26th of 2009. From March 26th of 2009 to November the 1st of 2010, I kept praying about it, what he asked me to do. God chose me November 22nd of 2010, and I went out and I asked several people to help me. They all rejected me because they said they was afraid to do something like this. And my response to them, that particular day, I'd do it if I have to do it by myself. But just a coincidence, I was in a local McDonald's the next day. And Mr. Murray knows Rick Webb, he knows State Senator Carl Allen. They happened to be in that McDonald's. Rick worked their manager. And they looked at me and said, Logan, we're gonna help you now. If we get killed, we're gonna get you. You know, and then we laughed. And so we began a grassroots campaign and walking the streets in the city of Greenville, handing out literature. Well, the earlier part of 2011, we got a call as we walked that there was an 11-year-old boy had been killed playing with a handgun. His name was Davis Boyd. Davis was visiting a friend of his there, down below their church. Mm-hmm. We got introduced to gun locks by then Police Chief Terry Wilfong. We found ourselves passing out gun locks, and then for the next year, we found ourselves passing out gun locks because kids was getting killed in Anderson, Myrtle Beach, Charleston, just throughout the state. Then it quieted down. Then the malice started. Not so much with teenagers, with this age group, 20 to 35, drive-by shootings. And like I said again, the accidental deaths had ceased until maybe in the last 6 months when the little 3-year-old over in Rock Hill, Savion, got killed, and then this most recent one, Sunday morning, with his 17-year-old. That's how we started. And I've enjoyed every second meeting people. I've hated every moment going to tragedies, to meet mothers who have to go look down on their son or daughter, and then look at that other mother who have to go to the penitentiary for the rest of her life to visit her child. And that's what we try to prevent, mothers from going to a mortuary.
We are sort of a gun-happy society, aren't we?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know how else to describe it. The law tells us we have the right to bear arms. Our Constitution gives us that right. But we also have responsibility. And I think somewhere we're losing it.
Well, I think sometimes guns give you an entitlement of power. And having a gun presents a situation where you are more bold and apt to commit a crime with a gun than without a gun. Now, Brother Logan and my association started when the young man died playing with a gun in the West Greenville community. And from that point to now, I essentially became the chaplain of the group. But my major concern is, how do we prevent these tragedies from happening? Where do you start? I think it starts in the home. From the time that a child is born, the child needs to have parents that are grounded by the Bible with the Lord at the head. The Bible says, teach a child in the way that they should go, and if they depart, they know the way back. So you start teaching a child morals, the responsibilities of respecting others and others' property, and etc. But you having children who are having children who have not been taught the proper way to execute their relationship with their child and going in the right direction. So these children have peers whom they haven't grown to the point where they know the responsibility of raising a child. And you have some young grandparents also in that situation. So what happens with the child? As the child starts to grow 5 or 6 years old, they're left at home. Consequently, they go outside the home, and there's some people who don't have their best interests at heart, essentially start raising them. Where we falter is it takes a village to raise a child. What is the village? It's the community that takes interest in these children and let these children grow in the proper way with a biblical foundation. Now, from my point of view, I can't say what a family should do if I'm not doing it myself. If I haven't raised my kids properly, then I don't have the right to criticize someone else.
Calvin, I agree with everything you've said. But one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
In the world we find ourselves, you have painted the ideal situation with the parents teaching the children and the home intact, and God bless you for it. I'm with you all the way. But you and I both know in this day and time, right here in the south of the United States, it isn't happening. We have broken homes, we have splintered families, we have children who are not being cared for properly. And out of all of this turmoil, we find ourselves unable to deal with situations. It's scary.
Well, the key is that we've gotten away from the Lord.
Of course.
And we've allowed Satan to infiltrate a lot of areas, and now Satan pretty much has control over a large portion of God's children. Now, we as individuals should look in the mirror and take self-inventory. Am I doing what the Lord would require me to do? So then I can reach one and get that individual and teach him or her in the way that they should go. Now, realistically, there's going to be an element of individuals that don't do the right thing. We understand that, but what our job is as Christians is for us to make the effort to, and it also starts within the churches. Why would you want to call down a handful of young people to the altar and say, these are our children, but then you don't implement plans in order to raise those children properly? So I think that to a certain extent, the churches are failing our children also.
We need a safety net, and it's going to take more than just the family. It's got to be the family, the churches, the community.
The village that I was referring to a moment ago. And the village is the community. And all of us in the community should take an active role. Because it haven't hit your house yet,
Doesn't mean it won't.
Just be patient. It's going to hit your house. And then what you're going to do. What we should do is take preventative measures as opposed to waiting until something occurs and then start to react.
I agree with you. Now, before we go to a break,
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
a powerful statement. What can we, and all these people that are hopefully watching today, what can we do?
Get up off our seat and on our feet. Because, see, we have too many people that have something to offer, but they're keeping it behind closed doors. What you have to do is God didn't give us the spirit of fear. So if you know God didn't give you the spirit of fear, you have to go back and take what's been taken from you. Because once again, at some point, if it don't hit you directly, it may hit a loved one of yours. So what you need to do is you need to say, not on my watch. So if it's not going to be on your watch, that means that you're doing what you should do as an individual. People coming together collectively with the right frame of mind. There's strength in numbers. So as long as we are bounded together, God says whatever is loosed on in heaven shall be loosed on earth. Whatever is bound on earth shall be bound in heaven. So what we need to do is to pray and ask God to continue to lead, guide, and direct my path in the way that we should go. And collectively, we can tear down some walls.
Okay, we're going to go to a quick break and we'll be right back. That